how many games do you think you can fit on an Xbox? Yeah, simple question, but not with a simple answer, because I own close to 1,000 Xbox games, and it'd be a miracle to fit all of these on my Xbox's storage at once, because, you know, they're all different sizes, many reasons. Now, solutions like cloud gaming can lessen the load a bit, but let's say I'm super stubborn and want access to all of my games all of the time. Can it be done? I don't know. Let's find out. I think I'm going to start off just by seeing how many of my games I can fit on a standard Series X. You do get 1 terabyte of storage space, with a portion of that being taken up by some necessary functions like the operating system and whatnot. Tech stuff that I'm not going to bore you with right now. But all in all, that leaves me with a juicy 793 gigabytes of free space. I think first I'm going to take a look at all the games on Xbox Game Pass that I can get downloaded. You know what? Would it be cheating if I just download all the small games first, just to get a really big number, just to get us started? Nah, I'm going to do it anyway. Oh, it will be a bit tricky once we start moving on to the big Indiana Joneses of the world and Call of Duty, but I'm going to worry about that much later and just get all these little games installed first. Inscription, banger. Only 3 gigabytes, doesn't take up too much. 5 gigabytes, not ready for that one just yet. But Killer Instinct is 569 megabytes. That's exactly what I'm looking for right now. Let's do Flock. Pretty sure that's pretty small. 2 gig. Golden Idol, one of the best puzzle games I've played lately. Especially nice being able to play it via Game Pass. You know what? There's a big list here, so I'm just going to queue up a bunch of them and we'll just speed it up and see what we get to. So I've come back, and there's still a couple games that are in the queue that had little updates, but we're already up to 114 games, with loads of storage left over too, 310 gigabytes to be precise. However, that's really not going to cut it for my full library, because like I mentioned, I've got nearly 1,000 games, and we're nearly full on this Xbox, well, 61% of the way there, and we've only managed just over 100 games. So I'm very impressed. We have a lot of great titles that we can play directly here, but I realized I'm going to need some more storage space, which is why I went and picked up one of these, the WD Black 1 terabyte storage expansion card, which is honestly one of my favorite accessories for Xbox Series X and S owners, because yes, not only does it give you more storage for all of the games that you want to play, but you can actually play any Series X and S optimized game directly off of this drive as well, which is perfect for not needing to worry about managing all the different games that you've got on the go. You can just play them straight off of this or your internal, and it's pretty easy to install too. Not as hard as other places might be. Just pop it right in the back, like that, but in the console, not in midair. So I'm going to plug this in, queue up a bunch of other games, and see how many more we can fit on once we add another terabyte of storage. So I thought I'd be really clever and try and get a couple of bigger games on the storage expansion card, which, yeah, now that that's done, that's good. Those games are out of the way. But that being said, we've not really made a dent in my entire library. So these are all the games that are just on the storage expansion. And I've still got 144 gigs left that I can play with, but it's only realistically added 17 games in the total amount that we can currently play. But that does bring us up to a pretty respectable size. I mean, now I've got 128 games that I can play directly on this Xbox, which is great. And I can play all of them without having to shift them about, anything like that. They're all accessible, even the Series X and S optimized ones. And because I've sorted by size, you can see the biggest game I've got right now is Mortal Kombat 1, 177 gigabytes, which is quite extraordinary that a game can be that big. And yes, I know that there is a game that sounds like a fish that could possibly double that size, and I've built a plan for that, okay? I'm coming prepared, because I saw recently via my Xbox Insider knowledge and the Xbox Insider program and app that there was an update that allows gamers to now use storage that is larger than 16 terabytes. Terabytes. If you don't know what a terabyte is, that's 1,000 gigabytes. So we can basically, at this point, we've got 2 terabytes in there, so we're basically getting 8 times as much storage space, or more than even. In order for me to access that update, I had to join the Xbox Insider program, which was super simple. And if you need a guide on how to do that so that you can get the earliest possible Xbox updates to your console, we have a video up there that you can click through and check out. But it was super easy. I enrolled in the Alpha Skip Ahead ring, which is the most exclusive invite only ring Pretty sweet. But it means that I get the earliest updates before anyone else. And sometimes these updates can have more bugs than usual because they're testing it with a smaller pool of users to make sure that everyone else gets like a slightly less bug-free experience, which is, you know, cool that I can experience things early. But now that I've done that, restarted the console, it's installed that latest version of the dashboard update, I should be able to use external drives that are higher than 16 terabytes. I just need to now go and actually find a drive that is 16 terabytes or bigger. And as it turns out, it's a guy down the road that's selling them. So I'm going to pop down to his shop, grab it, and we'll be right back. We got the drive. Oh, and I saved this bit for you guys because it's super satisfying and I didn't want to do it alone. We're going to peel it. Oh. In one. Lovely. Now, this is a WD Elements external hard drive, which normally you think of these things as more for PCs, for like just keeping storage of boring files and whatnot. But these are completely compatible with Xboxes as well for storing not just games, but also other media if you want to. All you got to do to check that a drive that you're thinking of buying is compatible is make sure that it is following these specs that we're going to put up on screen, but more or less just needs to be USB 3.0 compatible. So this thing though, 18 terabytes I managed to get, so even more than the 16 we were looking for. So I'm going to get this plugged in, see how much space we got. Probably going to need to queue some downloads up because we need to start filling this thing up, and then we'll see what number we can get up to. Have a guess in the comments. The internet speed here isn't great. I might actually take this hard drive home for the weekend because I think I've got faster internet and do it all there. And by the time I bring it back, I'm going to make sure it's completely full. See you in a bit. I'm back. It's a long weekend. Good news. I got lots of games installed. Bad news. I didn't get my whole library installed. But, before you come for me in the comments, there are a lot. And I managed to basically fill up this entire external hard drive with some of my games. And there was something quite cool about it that I noticed. I don't have an entire 18 terabyte portion in my storage devices. What I instead got was a 16 terabyte portion and then another like 300 gigabyte portion. And I actually found a very good use for that little 300 gigabyte chunk. I'm using it as an overflow. Now, before I explain what that is, let's show you how many games I managed to get downloaded, okay? The final number is 770 games. Imagine having that many games on your Xbox at any one time. The cool thing is, I have left a little bit of storage space left over, 680 gigabytes, which I could use to download more games. So I could probably hit, I don't know, 800 games, which is pretty close to my full library. But the reason I'm leaving that amount is for a couple of good reasons. The main one being that this storage drive does not play Xbox Series X and S optimized games directly from it. It's kind of like the reason why I love the storage expansion cards from WD Black, is because you can play those games directly off of those drives without having to muck about with any transferring between files, etc. However, it's still advantageous to have the games downloaded already because, for most people at least, if your internet speed isn't that great, downloading games will take way longer than transferring games between drives. So yeah, okay, I can't play Stalker 2 directly off of the hard drive. However, the prospect of downloading a game that is 141.6 gigabytes, usually that's going to have to run overnight before you can even launch the game. Of course, you could use some features that you get with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, like cloud gaming, to play Stalker 2 and then maybe download it overnight, so at least you get started with the game. But this way, I've just got it ready to go, and I can transfer it just like this. Super quick. Transfer game, select everything I need, and I can move it over to my internal storage. And probably in a matter of minutes, I'm going to be able to play the full whack. But look at that transfer rate, 1.1 gigabits per second. That is super quick. I would be amazed if anyone in our comments has internet that goes that quickly and could let them play Stalker 2 in a matter of about 16 minutes. I doubt it. So by far, if you have the time, if you have the cash to buy an external hard drive that is that big, and you really got nothing better to do than download loads of games over the course of a weekend like me, maybe this is a cool solution for you. Would I recommend doing this? Probably not. For most people, this is a completely unnecessary use of their time, of their money, which they could just use to get a couple of those external storage cards that WD Black do that let you play the games directly off them. However, I think it's kind of cool that I now have a drive that has almost my entire library of games. And yes, I will be getting new games in the future. There will be new games added to Game Pass Ultimate that I'll be able to then download here and there. But for the time being, if I'm ever on a desert island that somehow has a TV, an HDMI cable, an Xbox, and some power, and so long as I've brought that bad boy with me, I've got a lot of games. Now, remember that little nice partition I was talking about? The reason I find that useful, overflow right there, is that I can put games on there that I'm maybe not playing as often and use that to kind of Tetris and rejig the storage space that I've got that will let me play those Xbox Series X and S optimized games. So if my internal storage is full and I also had all of these full, I'd have no room to move games about. So it's kind of important to leave that overflow as uncongested as possible just to let me transfer stuff between so that I'm never backed up.
What's the smallest game?
What's the smallest game? Good question. Well, I can sort by size. Our teeniest, tiniest game ended up being all the way at the bottom, and it's Jack and Jill DX. If you've ever heard of that one, I think that's a Ratalaika game. They're a publisher that are known for making a lot of games that can get you pretty quick gamer score. So, but hey, that was the smallest, but all the way back at the top of the pile, probably surprising no one in the comments, the biggest game we've got is Call of Duty. However, technically that is like the Call of Duty hub. If we go and check out the actual details of this game, there's 27 add-ons installed in total. And look at what we've got. Black Ops 6 Campaign, Black Ops 6 Multiplayer, Black Ops 6 Warzone, Modern Warfare 2 Co-op, Modern Warfare 2 DMZ, the multiplayer, the campaign, the multiplayer. Loads of stuff in that. So maybe it's cheating to say that that's the biggest one we got because that's kind of 3 games in one. Next to that, though, it's still Mortal Kombat 1. I don't know why that game's so big, but it looks great, so I don't mind it so much. So, experiment concluded, and I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Anyone else going to give this a go? I realise it is, well, technically a failure. I didn't get my entire library on there, but I still think it's quite cool that I got over 750 games, all in this one little ecosystem I've now built for myself. Plus, it's just kind of cool to show off what different storage types can do for your Xbox Series X. And all things considered, what we managed to fit on just the console itself was still pretty impressive. I reckon we probably could have pushed it to about 150 games if I really picked and chose the right ones and matched up the size of games properly. Still pretty decent. Plus, I think it's pretty cool that I managed to just get 770 games on this thing. I mean, look at the variety of games I now have at my disposal, and I don't need to download any more of them ever again. They're there now for me. So that's pretty sweet. These kind of games actually play directly off your storage, so long as it doesn't have that little arrow bit there like you see on Fall Guys, you know that you can actually launch the game straight away. You don't have to transfer it. So games like Fallout 3, games like Lords of the Fallen from 2014, games like Neon White, games like Ori, they can launch straight off of this hard drive. So that's pretty sweet. Most of the games on here will play as is. It's just a few of them that are Series X and S optimized that I will need to transfer over. But as you can see, I mean, Stalker 2 is flying through. There is no way I could have ever downloaded that just in the matter of speaking to you guys through this video. So that's quite sweet. Now, what I need to know from you guys, what should we try next? How else can we push our Series X to the limits? Let us know in the comments. We'll give it a go, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.